everybody. So today I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on the new album from Hammer King. The name of the album is Kingdemonium, and you all know it by now. Before I get into that nitty gritty, let's check out the cover. So boom, there it is. Take a good long look at that bad boy there. Now that is a cover if I ever seen one. Looks so sick. I almost wish it almost kind of looks like a movie poster or something or like a video game, box art. If it was, boy, I would buy that game instantly or go see that movie immediately, or in this case, pick up the album. Just and just you're looking through the CD shop, and you see that bad boy, Hammer King. You have this sick cover with these guys like riding into battle. It looks like, and kind of like kicking up a storm. There's lightning in the background, and this king-looking figure with like a cool gold mask. Kind of like a Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, like his ninja face mask. He's got the crown on. He's up, dude. That just looks sick. Like you'd be looking through the CD, at the record shop or whatever, and you see that cover, you'd be like, right in the basket. I mean, it just looks that cool. So, just an incredible cover art there. I dig it big time. And does it give you an indication of what to expect on the album? I think it does. Yeah, I definitely think it does. It definitely gives off kind of a power metal or heavy metal or epic metal kind of vibes, something with a lot of momentum and power behind it. So yeah, and that is for the most part what you get. I feel like the cover maybe exudes a little bit more like grandiosity than you actually get on the album. But still, you wouldn't be surprised by what you hear. But yeah, that cover, man, oh Lord, it's so cool. Anywho, that's the cover. My thoughts on that. Let's talk about the album itself now. This bad boy's got 10 songs on there and comes in at about 52 minutes. So, yeah, a decent length of time. And what you'll pretty much can expect on this album is it's definitely power metal, but it's also definitely melodic metal, and it also is definitely somewhat of like a new wave, a traditional heavy metal kind of style. So uh, I would say majority, really, I guess, of what you would get is a melodic metal with moments of power metal vibes, where it kind of gets anthemic or whatnot, but then also a very methodical way of the songs move at a very methodical kind of deliberate pacing, which I tend to find with a lot of that new wave of heavy metal. It just kind of moves at its own pace, and that's what this is. The songs, nothing ever feels rushed. It feels very deliberate, and it takes its time. It's almost like almost like, I guess, if you were going into battle, it's the journey to the battle itself, not so much the battle, but the journey to the battle, because it has that kind of rhythmic movement to every song. So that's just kind of the vibes that I get from it. So heavy guitar work here. There's not really like symphonic elements. You're not getting the big trumpets or strings or anything really like that, or keyboard. It's really heavily focused on the guitar work, and the guitar work tends to be very also just rhythmic. Um, it moves the songs forward. That's really what drives the songs, and you get moments of some nice intricate little solo work and things like that. But otherwise, it's just very very rhythmic guitar work that serves as the essence of the songs, and again, kind of it's what determines, I guess, the mood or the pacing or the feeling of the songs as you're listening to it. The way that the guitar is kind of moving the song forward. So really great rhythmic guitar work that it just again, it's just the essence of the songs here. So it just really kind of propels them forward and just creates the vibe and the feeling of each song. And yeah, I really dug the guitar work here because again, you also do get some solos and stuff like that, and some intricacies, but for the most part, it's just very rhythmic, and I like that. The drums and everything else is also just very rhythmic, done super well. And the vocals, yeah, I really like his vocal style because he's got a strength to his voice without feeling like he's really pushing his voice. He's not really like it doesn't feel like he's really throwing his voice out there. It has a very not subdued, but just a very melodic quality to it. And it's not like in your face or anything, but it feels strong all the same. And he's got a great range, and that's kind of just the way this music is, or for the most part on this album. Just very melodic metal that is never really too much in your face. It's just, yeah, I mean, best way I can say is just kind of melodic and at a point to where it's just not being thrown at you. You're not. It's not like pounding in your ears or anything. It's more of like anthemic. They're a very anthemic band, musically and vocally. Just I guess that's just really the way that they are, very melodic and anthemic. So that's pretty much what you'll get. Personally, I feel like this might be their most focused album of their discography to date. It's a very focused album. I feel like what they set out to create, they created, and it's a very consistent album from beginning to end. So, there's something to be said for that as well. There's not really any surprises thrown in. What you kind of get from the first couple songs, that's pretty much what you can expect throughout. And that brings me to a little bit of some critique or you know negative aspects, I guess, is as you get towards the end of the album, fatigue kind of starts to wear it in a little bit. I start losing interest or focus with the album because there is that lack of diversity. It's very just again from beginning to end. There's not too much thrown in to kind of spice things up. There's not this extra little flavor here or there, or just like I said, there's not. It's not a very diverse album. It's just a very deliberate and rhythmic and melodic album from start to finish without any real surprise. So once you get kind of towards the end, I'd say the last few songs, starting with like track 8, the Four Horsemen, I kind of start losing focus. And that's unfortunate because the final song, Age of Urizen, is pretty cool. But it makes it harder to appreciate it because you're just a little fatigued with the sound by the end, in my humble opinion. But with that being said, I mean, it starts out with Invisible King, which is a great way to start the album. It's got a nice energy to it, and just really kind of sets the mood and gets it cracking. Track 2, Pariah Is My Name, is a very anthemic, chant-worthy kind of track, and they kind of go for that a lot. The chorus, I guess that's my second critique, is not only do a lot of the songs have the same kind of format, and so fatigue sets in towards the end of the album, but most of the songs also tend to be quite repetitive, especially in the chorus. Now, there's something to be said for that, I guess, because when it's quite repetitive, it's very easy for the listener or whatnot to learn it and to engage with it and whatnot, like especially at a concert setting, a live setting. I feel like it's great for, you're there, you're chanting with the band, because it's just repetitious. So there's not much to really remember or anything like that. You're kind of just there chanting, in an anthemic way, these repeating lines, kind of. But for me, on an album, when you're listening to it, that can kind of also just add to fatigue a little bit, in my opinion. Just that repetitive nature, especially on so many songs, they tend to do it quite a bit. But in a live setting, I can see that working pretty well. But just when you're listening to it, especially when there's so many songs and they kind of tend to just repeat in the chorus a lot, the same lines, it just kind of you kind of start to lose focus a little bit. I would find my attention drifting just a smidge, because it's like, you keep hearing the same thing, your focus starts to drift a little, at least in my opinion. Um, uh, this one song, though, I would say that the song on the album not to miss would be track 5, The Seventh of the Seven Kings. Really, really cool song. Very melodic, deliberate pacing, and a nice, um, powerful kind of chorus with good, what's the word? Like a good emphasis on the vocal lines, a good vocal uh, delivery, and stuff like that. So that's my pick of the song to not miss, The Seventh of the Seven Kings. Really like that one. Um, Track 3, We Shall Rise, is really cool as well. Track 7, Other Kingdoms Fall, very anthemic quality one. But once that one ends and you fall into the Four Horsemen, that's when I feel like my attention started to fade a bit. And then track 9, you got Guardians of the Realm featuring Ross the Boss, Man of War fame. But that song just kind of passes me by again. Just it might just be because by the time I get to that point, it's like I've heard this already, for 7 tracks, or 7, 8 tracks up to this point. So I just kind of lose focus in track 10, Age of Urizen. Again, it's a really great track, a great way to end the album. But it makes it difficult to appreciate if you've already listened to the whole album up to that point. So that's really my biggest critique, is the lack of diversity on the album. So my attention kind of wanes, and you don't get to fully appreciate some of the songs as much as you would if you just popped on that one song and just listened to it. Because if you're listening to the whole album, you kind of keep hearing the same thing after a while. But still, at the end of the day, I would say it's a solid album. Again, it's their most focused album to date, in my opinion. I just think next time, if they add a little diversity in there, add some tracks that kind of change things up a little bit. It really might do wonders for the album as a whole. But I really do like their sound a lot. I like their style. They have a passion about them. They have a energy. They have a signature that they have, that you can kind of hear it through the music. These guys, they're just cool. They just have a real cool style about them, and it comes through the music, and I really appreciate that a lot. But so yeah, if you're looking for some nice melodic metal with power metal influences and some new wave heavy metal, but nothing that really breaks the mold too much, but with choruses that you can really kind of gravitate to, because they tend to be on the repetitive side. They tend to be somewhat anthemic, and things like that. You're not getting like grandiose symphonic stuff going on here, or like larger than life sounds. It's all pretty, contained and reserved for the most part. But again, it reminds me of, it's the journey, or the march to the battle, not the battle itself. So it's not as dynamic as the battle itself would be. But yeah, that's really my thoughts on this here. The song to check out to decide if you want to listen to the whole album, in my opinion, I'd say go with Kingdemonium. They also released that as a single. I think that song contains the essence of the whole album, kind of the best in one song. You kind of get the full vibe of what the album contains in that one song. So if you dig that, I think you'll have a good enough time with the album. If you don't dig that song, you probably won't take to the album too much because again, there's not much diversity. But yeah, if you did Kingdemonium and you're looking for some solid melodic metal, you can kind of have on, and you're not paying too much of focus to it. Again, I'm not saying this is a bad album. It's squarely in the solid album range. Nothing more, nothing less, but enjoyable all the same. So yeah, that's my thoughts here on Hammer King's latest album, Kingdemonium. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this album here, or if you haven't listened to it yet. Are you looking forward to listening to it? What's your favorite songs from the album, this and that. Yeah, so that's what I got for y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch y'all next time. Ranger, out.